Hello everyone. Let's continue. Last time we finished the points, how to create points, how to import points, and how to create surface, and some analysis related to surface. This is the last figure we have in the first session. For the second session today, we will have more analysis for surfaces and the contour and uh, many things related to the analysis, and we will start in the alignment also, how to create alignment. So let's see what I will do. I will open a new project today to create the surface with another method. Okay. The last time we import the points and then create the surface. Today we will not import the point. We create the surface directly from point 5. Let's see. I will open a new project here. Okay. Or from file, you can create new and choose metric. You can open. Now you have a new project. Okay. And the name of it is drawing 2. So let's start here from surfaces. I want to create a surface. Okay. As you see here, you can change the name, for example, existing ground. And as I mentioned last session, you can change the contour or so on. So now we create a surface as um, a store for the surface. Here you have to go and to define the surface. We have different methods. Last time we defined the surface by point group. Today we will do it from point file, so no need to import the point. This is another method, both is okay. So add the file, the same file we are working, open, and as you remember, we have to choose the correct format, point easting, northing, elevation, and description. Okay. Now the surface already created, but I make zoom. Here you can see. Okay. Or here from zoom, you can make zoom extend. You can see it. Okay. If you are in another place and wanted to make zoom, you can go zoom extend. You can see the surface. As you see, the same surface is already created, but without importing the point, it's reading directly from the group, sorry, from the point file. Okay. As you see here is contours. We can see them, and we need to do some analysis and to show, for example, the contour label. This is what we'll start now. Look, going to surface, and you can see here, edit surface. This as last time. You can edit surface style, properties, add or delete line from TIN, add point, and so on. This you can do from here, or another way, you can select, and then you can see edit properties and add lines. This is another way to edit your surface. Okay. So what we will do, go to surface. Okay. We need to add label. Okay. So if we add surface label, you can add slope, spot elevation. For example, here, if I want to know the slope between two contour lines or 2 points, 1 points, it will be you have to choose 1 point or 2 points. Look, for example, here, 1 point. If you choose a point here, okay, give you the slope. Okay. Another point here, give you the slope or the grade. The other one, you can from label. Okay. You can make the same slope, but between 2 points, for example, point here and point there, and give you the slope between the 2 points. Okay. Another analysis here you can do Surfaces, go to utilities. Sorry, label. We are still in the label. Spot elevation. Spot elevation meaning a point. You know, you want to know the elevation of it, or you can put the elevation of the point and print it. For example, here, any point I will choose, it give me the elevation here. You can see another point, for example, there, another point here. Okay. So this spot elevation is individually. You can do it. Okay. Um, Based on the grid. Okay. You want to make a spot elevation for a specific grid, X spacing and Y spacing. Let's see. Okay. Spot elevation. And look what, see it here, specify a grid base point. You can, I wanted to make to the whole surface. Okay, you can, the lowest lift point, for example, here, and ask you what is the, you wanted to make grid rotation, for example, with any angle, or you want it uh, in zero direction like this, horizontal one. So if I want horizontal, no rotation, I will make enter. What about the spacing in X direction? This is X direction. Spacing, for example, 100 meter. Every 100 meter, make a grid in X, and in Y, okay, 100 meter also, or up to you. Okay, but normally X and Y spacing are the same. Okay, now the command line asks you specify the upper right location for the grid. I choose the base, choose the upper to cover the whole surface if you want, or a part of surface according to your needs. I choose here, okay, give you what is the whole grid you will have, but it will be get the data from the surface only, because you here you don't have the outer area, you don't have Z here. The Z only come from the surface, and this is the space for each grid, X spacing and Y spacing as a sample of the grid. Maybe you accept it, or you can go. If you don't accept it, you return it back and repeat this and choose another spacing according to your needs. Okay, so press enter if you accept. Look, now we have a grid for elevation points based on the space you choose in the X spacing and Y spacing. Okay, here is the grid for the points you choose based on the grid, has the elevation of them. Okay, let's see what we can do also here from label. Okay, we want to make a label for contour. Every line from here is a contour line. We have three methods to show them the contour label or contour index. The first one is contour for single point, for single. What does that mean? You will choose only a line and it will give you the label for that line. For example, you choose this line, it will give you the label for that line. Okay, it will be line by line based on your needs. Another way, for example, here, surfaces, label, add surface label, multiple. Okay, now you can do it for multiple lines. Okay, I will choose, look here, you will specify first point in the command line. For example, I will start from here and to there. Any line I will, you can do it for the whole surface, it's okay. Any line I will cut it, it will give me the label of it. Look here, and you can repeat that again. Okay, look, labels is one label only to each line. Okay, so what about if I want the same line has multiple labels? For example, here is 138, but if I going here, I cannot remember what is the label here. You want the label to show with a specific distance, you can do it also. Go to surface, label, here, contour multiple at interval. You show the label with a same line but with a specific distance. Look, here I choose the first point. Look at the command line now asking about the second point, for example, here, okay, and then tell you interval along the contour line. I want to show label every, for example, 400 meter, okay? So look here, now it's finished, okay? Here is the command line, sorry, here is the contour line, okay? After 400 meter, you can see a label again. After 400 meter, you can see a label again, okay? You can make it 100 meter. For example, here, look, after 400, you can see the same label, or up to you, you can change, for example, 100 meter, 150, according to the scale and what you want to print, okay? That's for label. Now I want to go to calculating cut and volume, cut and fill, okay? For example, here, this is the existing ground surface. I have to compare with another surface, right? To compare the quantities for cut and fill. So I should have another surface. For example, I will make another surface with a specific elevation and create the cut and fill between the two surfaces. For example, I make polyline, PL, polyline, or you can choose it from here, from the window here. Here as a polyline will cover the whole area. For example, the existing area or existing ground has several elevation, and I want to make another level or level this area with a specific elevation. So some places will be cut, some places will be fill. It's okay. For example, here is I will select the line or polyline I created, then press Control 1 to get the properties. You can see the properties of contour line give you the area and so on. What I wanted to add is the elevation of the finishing ground. For example, it will be 120, okay? So we have elevation or leveling elevation for the whole area. It will be 120. As an example, enter, okay? Now, you can consider this polyline as a contour line because it's a polyline and has elevation. So create the other surface, create surface. We want to create the finishing ground, for example, surface. Okay. Now we have a new surface as a store. Look, FG or finishing ground. We have to identify or make a definition for this surface. Now, what is the method? Point file, point to no, I will define it from a contour because it's a polyline like a contour line. So right click and add. Okay. Here, if you want to add description, it's okay. You can add, press, if you can want to change the distance or anything here, you can, but then press OK. And what he see, look, select contours. If you have multiple contours, you can add. I have only one here. And then he told you, you found one contour, press enter. Now we have a new surface. Okay. If you stand here with mouse, you can see 120 as elevation for the new surface. For the next step, I want to compare between the two surfaces to find the cut and fill. And by the way, the cut and fill, it will be calculated with the intersected area. For example, the outer side is not included, only the intersected area between, or the common area between the two surfaces will calculate it as cut or fill based on the difference in elevation between existing ground and final ground. Look what we will do here, utilities. Okay, volume dashboard. Okay, for example, here, create surface. It will be a surface as a comparing surface. Okay, you can change the name. So here, the most important here, base surface. What is the base surface? For, of course, it will be existing ground. And you want to compare with what? Comparison surface. It should be compared with, yes, finishing ground. And then press OK. Okay. Now there is, look here, the area and the cut adjusted and fill adjusted and the net adjusted. The cut, okay, and fill, and the differences between cut and fill. And you can see the red represent the quantities of cut and the green it represents the quantities of fill. So the cut is more than fill. You can see the differences between them. Okay. What is the meaning of fill adjusted or cut adjusted? If you have cut factor and fill factor, sometimes it will be 1.1, 1.10, for example, sometimes zero point 0.9 or so. It depends on the type of the soil. So, for example, this parameter is different from sand than rock and so on. You can adjust from here. If you don't have, you can keep it as one. Okay, and then right, press on click here. Okay, now you have the surface new here is already created. Okay, and by the way, you can get a report for uh, what you have for surfaces. You can create the report. Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you. Okay, for example, I will do it again here, create surface. Sorry, look, surface, utilities, volume dashboard. I want to, uh, yes, add volume surface. We have our surface already. Go to this item or icon to generate cut and fill report. Press here. Okay, you want to open, for example, with Microsoft Edge, just okay. Here is a report and tell you the details. You can copy this report or print it or edit it by taking on, for example, Excel or so, and you can see the details about the cut and fill. Okay, let's return back here. Okay, it's okay for me. Now I learned how to calculate cut and fill between two surfaces or two different surfaces. Okay, what I want to do more, I want to do some analysis in the surface. Look at here. Okay, utilities. You can do like water drop. Water drop tell you if there is some water come, what is the direction of water. For example, rainfall or so. So what is the direction? I will uh, mm, I don't need this surface for now. I want to make analysis here. Look surface and water drop. You ask to choose a surface. Okay, I choose the surface. Okay. Here select a point to choose to see the water drop. If water drop coming here, so what is the direction? It will be there. Of water coming there. Okay. It will be the direction like that. So it give you some analysis for runoff or so to see what is the direction of water. It will be based on the elevation from higher to lower elevation, can give you the direction of water flow. another tool here. You can make catchment areas or trap image and so on. That's what I wanted to tell you today about the surface. And because of the time, we will move to the next one is alignment. So what we did already points, okay, surfaces, and now we go to make alignment. Alignment it will be like a center line or offset line based on what it depends on what you want for anything. For example, a new highway. For example, it will be for pipelines or for rail. It's okay. So we will design a new highway. So we want to create alignment. What is the easiest? There are many methods to uh, create alignment. One is the easiest one from polyline. We will going to choose polyline from here, or you can write it from command line. But I choose another way now to learn it. Press. Okay. For example, I will choose this is the start point for alignment for the highway, and this is the point of intersection, and here, for example, it will be the last point of alignment. Okay. Okay, for you, press enter, press space. Now you have a polyline. I want to create alignment based on this polyline. So go to alignment menu, create alignment by layout, no, from polyline, okay, because we have polyline. What till you select the polyline, I select this polyline, okay. Now to create, select a polyline, I select it, press enter, okay. He asks you, this is the direction. Let's see what the meaning of direction here. This arrow tell you the start point, it will be here, and the end point, it will be there. If you want to reverse them, start point from that point, that place, you can make reverse. If you accept, just press enter. Okay. Now some generate alignment properties. For example, here, if you want to change the alignment style, if you have an existing alignment, you just to want to identify, or if what is the label you wanted to show, for example, here, or label, or measure and minor only, okay, um, station and so on, alignment. For example, I will show all labels. Here is design criteria for here is starting station. It as a default it will be 0, but sometime your alignment it will be an extension for the old alignment, so you can start, for example, with a specific station. Design criteria, here you can check what is the speed of the highway you will do. Design criteria here is based on H2. Also you can change of them based on the design criteria, how many lanes, for example, 2 or 4 lanes, and attainment method and so on. So I'm going to accept the criteria, and now you can see the starting point is 0 station, and every 20 meter it gives you as a major station, and the minor also you can change them. And here is creating for a curve between the intersection. Here is an issue happened, maybe because the radius and the speed of it could be solved later, okay. But here, as you see, point of curve is starting point of the curve, is mid of the curve, and this is point of intersection, and this point of tangency, or the end point of the curve. And here we can see the last station is 2 plus 350 is 2 kilometer and 350 meter. Okay, so this is the alignment is created now, and also you can press on the alignment and do um, the alignment properties you can change in some things, for example, station, the start and the end station, and the lens here, you can see the point of intersection, what the criteria also is already created, and you can edit in the criteria if you have a mistake or forgot something, okay, and also design speed and so on, okay. If you want to change, you can edit the criteria of alignment or design criteria for your alignment. Okay, I didn't change anything, so I press cancel. And now you see the alignment here and how to edit it. Almost you can edit the design or viewing, for example, here, alignment properties, edit alignment style to change the style. For example, if you want to uh, make invisible for some parts or make visible for some parts, you can do as we did before in the surface, okay? So here is alignment, okay? I want for the next step to create a profile. So now we have surface, we have alignment. What is the next step? I want to create profile. To create profile, you have to have alignment and you have to have a surface because the intersection between the alignment is a 2D for the highway and the surface you have 3D here. The intersection between them gives you what is the profile from the start point to the end point for the existing ground, okay? Because we don't have the final ground as an highway design right now, okay? So first we have to create the profile. So what we will do, go to profile, create profile. You have two ways here at least, or multiple, but what will we consider it in the first way. Now create profile from surface, you have or not? Yes, I have. Create profile from surface and tell you um, maybe you have multiple alignment. You can choose the specific alignment. Have here I have only one, okay. And then if you have multiple surface, you can choose. I have to choose this one, existing ground. As you can see, this start and end point. If you want to make a sample for a specific station, you can choose and change. I press add. Okay. So now you can see the start and the end, a minimum and maximum. This is the range between the minimum and maximum elevation based on the existing ground and alignment. Okay. I press OK. Okay, solve. You want to solve the issue here. You can skip it or solve it. Okay, based on if you change the length of the curve, it will be solved. Okay, you can. Okay, there again. Profile from surface. I choose alignment and draw in profile view. Okay, so now there is some steps you have to finish to create the profile. Here, what is the alignment? Already you choose profile view, for example, station. This is automatic from start to the end. If you want to for a specific station, you can do profile view height. Automatic, it is taken from minimum to the maximum elevation. If you want a specific, you can change. That means it will be look from, for example, from this point as the minimum up to maximum elevation. Profile option, here you can check alignment, start and end station, maximum and elevation. This is for another thing. If you created pipe or so, go to bands. Bands meaning it's this part for bands, okay, to show what you want to show. For example, here it will be station and look, select. You wanted a station. You want to cut bands. You want a station and elevation. Okay, you can choose and profile hatch option. What is the hatch option? If you want to make hatching up to the length of the existing ground or the line of the existing ground, or to show the fill area or multiple or so. And if you have a specific criteria you did before, you can import them. Now I will, for example, choose this one, multiple, but I have only one service. So let's, uh, okay, sorry, everyone you press, and you can remove also by this one. Okay, I choose this one. Okay, existing ground, but you don't have lower. It will be, I don't have the finishing ground for the highway to choose it. Later, I will edit that after design the vertical profile for the highway. Okay, let's go create profile. He told you there is you have not selected profile for one or more hatch. Okay, you have to select it. Okay, I select that. Sorry, remove. Okay, here boundary existing ground. Here, sorry, you can control. So create. I can continue. Okay, going to choose the profile view. Here you have now the profile, this profile for alignment one. Okay, and now you see the red is the existing ground profile. Okay, um, this existing ground, and it is not logic to design your highway based on this line. I will make a simple design for the highway. So go to profile again. Now I want to create profile by layout, not by surface, because I have the layout for the profile now. Here is the layout, okay? So go to profile, create profile by layout. Ask you here, select profile view. I will select this one, okay? So here, design profile. Okay, you can choose or change the design criteria. Now it will be based for vertical curves. The alignment, it will be for horizontal curves, and the profile, it will be for vertical curves. You can change or choose. Okay, or use the criteria. Okay, here you can, if you want to change. It's the only one in H2 system. I press OK now, and we want to create your profile. Okay, you can see here, draw tangent. You want tangent only, or you want to draw tangent with curves, or curves, or if you want to make setting for the curves, for example, the vertical curves. Okay, so let's draw tangent with curves here. For example, here is the first point. Can I zoom in or zoom out to see better? Here, for example, as the road will go this way, go that way, for example, and then I just want to make it has a cut and fill to see what the difference is here. Okay, I choose the last point like that. I finish from the start to the end point of my highway, so you can press enter to go from the command. And now you can see here is existing ground. Here is the finished ground for the highway. And is every one of this give you an information about the vertical curve. Here is the start. Look, the start of the vertical curve, the end of the vertical curve at which station and elevation, and here what is the lowest point of the curve, okay? Because this is a second curve, but if it is a summit curve, it will give you the highest point of the curve, okay? So here, for example, is uh, a summit curve and also has an issue that should be solved, but it's not our scope now. So high, highest point or highest station for the point, highest elevation for the point. Okay. Also calculated what is the station for the beginning, station for the end of the vertical curve. So now, as you can see, we have our existing ground in the red and finishing ground is um, in front of you in blue. Okay. This profile is not clear. I wanted to make some edit to print it or view it in a good way. So now we can edit our profile. But first I want to tell you also here, you can see the, look, this is the station, as you see, and this is elevation. And elevation now is reading from the same existing ground. For example, this is have 144 and 144 for the same. But if you look here, you can see the existing ground is different than finishing ground. Look at this point, it's very clear here. Here is the existing ground, and this is the finishing ground. If you're going to see the bands, is the same. So that means the profile reading for the existing ground and finishing ground from the same surface. You have to tell or update the surface to see the existing ground and finishing ground. Okay, how to do it? Choose your profile by selecting it and going to profile properties. Choose it again. Okay, here, profile properties. Select. Okay. Profile data. There is more information about the station and so on. And it should be in bands, sorry. Okay. Again. Style. ألف سلام عليك حبيبي، ألف سلام. حاول تاكل وتشرب حاجة دافية لحد ما أجي. أنا إن شاء الله مش هتأخر، ماشي؟ مش هتأخر حاجة، أطمن عليك وأدي لك الدواء بتاعك. ماشي يا حبيبي، ألف سلام، ربنا يشفيك فيك. Okay. What I want, as I mentioned, here we have the same elevation because the band is reading the elevation from the same profile for this thing, but it's not reading from the finishing profile. So select your profile by pressing on it and go to profile view properties, view properties, and then go to bands here because this is the name of it is bands, and then going to here see is reading from profile 1 existing ground and profile 2 is also existing ground. You have to make it layout, okay? And if you make apply, okay, let's go here, for example, again, select the profile. I just make zoom to see it. And profile view properties. Okay, look at this number now. Change profile to is a layout and press apply. You can see now is updated the elevation for each profile, the existing ground and finishing ground. And press OK. Here you can see every is different now. Also, we can, from profile view properties, we can add, for example, I want to add another bands. For example, cut, you can add it, okay. And you have to update also. The cut, it should be the difference between existing banner and layout. And you can add fill data, okay, for example, another band, it will be a new band with the fill data, add, okay, and you have to update or tell him about the profile 2, it will be layout, to compare between existing ground and layout is the final ground. Then, okay, now there are two bands already added here is the fill, you can see fill, and this is cut in red and fill in green and blue. You can see if you have data based on cut, you can see them. In this part, we don't have data for cut, so it's a space, but here we have data for fill, so you have how to calculate them is the difference between this number and that number, the layout minus uh, the existing ground. The differences in elevation give you cut or fill based on which one is higher. For example, here, if you're going that one, here we have, as you see, the cut area. For this part, it will be fill area. So what I want to edit again, this grid is not clear. I cannot see well. For example, escape here. You want to, for example, the grid or upper grid here, you want to delete them or only make the grid up to the existing ground only or up to the finishing ground only. You can edit them. Profile view properties. Okay. Station. Sorry. From here. Edit profile. Okay. How to edit this? The grid. Choose the profile and go. I want to change the style now. Edit profile view style. Okay. And you can see here what I want. The grid. This grid, I want to remove what's the upper. For example, here you can see If you press anything, you can see what will happen to your profile. For example, here, clip vertical grid, vertical, okay, in the direction of the vertical. If you clip them, you can see what happened. If you return it, what will happen? Okay, I grid, clip, and you can clip the highest, clip to the highest profile. Which one is the highest? It depends. For example, look at this photo and see what will happen. Okay, and you can press that if you want it to the specific one. This what will do for vertical. You can do the same for the horizontal grid in X direction. You can see. Okay, you can clip them like that or clip them like that. Okay. Also, if you change for grid here, it's for example left increase what the left margin and in the direction of the left and the direction of the right, x margin or station margin, and here is the elevation margin. You can increase them by changing this value. Okay. Now, if I press apply, you can see now what happened. Okay, press OK. You can see the grid now is up to the elevation of the existing ground. If you want the elevation to be up to the upper one, for example, here, look, okay, change from the style, edit profile view style. You can change here to clip to the highest and clip this to the highest and see what is the difference. Look, it will be to the highest, whatever it is an existing ground or finishing ground, it will be the grid extended to the higher. But I prefer the previous one. Okay, return to the previous one again from profile view properties. Okay, sorry, profile view properties, choose the edit profile view style. I like to omit clip here and press OK. So now you have your profile, you have your existing ground, you have finishing ground, you have the depths of cut and fill, and also you can merge the cut and fill together. It will be the same, but it's okay for this view. Okay. You can print your profile or and also you have your alignment. You can create another profile. That's what I want to show you for this session. And in the third session, we will continue the other things for how to create the cross section and more edit for the profile. If we have more time, we can do, but I try to give you the basics. And as you know, this course, it could be need more time, but at least we learn how to make the basics for the surface, alignment, profile, and so on. Okay. And thank you and see you next time, inshallah.